My friends, I want to thank all of you who listened to my message, checked with YouTube and found that yes indeed, they had been unsubscribed without their knowledge. There are always some who say I'm making it up and YouTube does not unsubscribe people out of the blue, and to them I simply say, look through the comments section of my last video. There are many people who were surprised to find they are no longer subscribed, and I get messages like that every day. Thanks to everyone who shared that in the comments. Thanks for resubscribing and pushing the notification bell and supporting our mission to save pop culture. And if you are not subscribed, please do so. We need you. Thank you. Greetings, my friends. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, broadcasting from my hidden base at the center of the Earth, and I am here today with a potentially earth-shattering rumor from multiple sources who have literally been flooding my Hollywood spies with messages over the last 48 hours that Disney is in a wonderful world of shit, my friends, and that George Lucas may finally be ready to take revenge on Disney, the so-called white slavers that bought and exploited and abused his favorite child, Star Wars. This is potentially a huge story, folks, one that my spies have talked about for quite a while now, and one that to my regret I initially dismissed, although now that Nelson Peltz is making his move to gain seats on the Disney board, it appears that my Hollywood spies were on the money from the start. Folks, in this video, I'm going to examine some recent developments in Nelson Peltz's bid to elbow his way into Bob Iger's CEO role and place his people on the Disney board. I'm going to review how Bob Iger mistreated George Lucas, and then, my friends, I'm going to share the latest rumor from my Hollywood spies that may point to a looming Armageddon for Iger and his board at Disney.
I never thought I'd see the day when Disney was laid so low. They're sitting on 2 box office failures in the next few months, Wish and The Marvels. They're at odds with Comcast over paying Comcast for their share of Hulu. They're hated by a sizable portion of their former audience for their woke nonsense. And now Nelson Peltz is coming for them.
Artie Cthulhu, Nelson Peltz is like the corporate Freddy Krueger. You think you've beaten him down, but the minute you let yourself relax and go to sleep, he's right there again, buying up more of your stock and slashing costs in your dreams. Now, just a little bit of history for those of you new to this, as summed up by Deadline in an article titled, "Another Headache for Disney," activist investor Nelson Peltz is back and said to be seeking board seats. Quote, activist investor Nelson Peltz, who dropped a long battle with Disney early this year, has amassed a large stake in the media giant and is said to be seeking board seats. Peltz's Trian Fund, one of Disney's largest investors with a stake valued at upward of $2.5 billion, is expected to request multiple seats on the board of directors, including one for himself, according to the Wall Street Journal, citing people familiar with the matter. The investor abandoned his proxy fight with Disney in February, unquote.
And remind the viewers exactly why Peltz abandoned his first proxy fight, Doomcock, just so the viewers understand how serious this threat from Peltz really is.
Peltz ended his first proxy bid because Bob Iger bent the knee. That's right, folks. Peltz's first bid to muscle in on the board when he had far less stock than he does now only ended because Iger promised to slash 7,000 jobs and cut $5.5 billion from Disney spending. Imagine that. All of that cost cutting and firing happened because Peltz was so strong the first time he attacked. Well, my friends, Disney did all that and then fell asleep. And now Freddy Krueger-esque Nelson Peltz is back stronger than ever because he has recently acquired even more stock from disgruntled ex-employee and former president of Marvel Studios, Ike Perlmutter. In a new New York Post article titled, "Ex-Marvel boss Ike Perlmutter joins forces with Nelson Peltz in Disney battle," they write, quote, "Former Marvel boss Ike Perlmutter has given fellow billionaire Nelson Peltz control over his voting shares of the Walt Disney Company, setting the stage for a renewed proxy war with Mouse House boss Bob Iger. Perlmutter, the billionaire investor who was unceremoniously fired by Disney earlier this year as head of the comic books division, threw his support behind Peltz as the company's stock remains mired near 9-year lows. Quote, "As someone with a large economic interest in Disney's success, I can no longer watch the business underachieve its great potential," Perlmutter told the Journal. He will use his influence within Disney to push for board seats for Peltz and perhaps other nominees from Trian. Armed with Perlmutter's shares, Trian boosted its stake in Disney to 33 million shares, worth around $2.5 billion according to the outlet. Perlmutter's approximately 30 million shares make up a majority of Trian's stake in the company. With the ex-Marvel boss's backing, Peltz, who now has 4 times the amount of shares that he did during his initial proxy fight less than a year ago, will be in a stronger position to push for more seats on Disney's board of directors when the nominating window opens in December. Unquote.
Yikes! If Peltz was able to force Iger to bend the knee, cut $5.5 billion in spending, and fire 7,000 employees back in November 2022, what will he do to Iger now that he has 4 times as many shares, Doomcock?
I'm not sure, Harvey, but maybe ask Ned Beatty for his opinion on the matter. Or just watch the middle part of Deliverance to get some idea. And yet, folks, as bad as Iger's nightmare is now, according to my Hollywood spies, it's about to get worse. At this point, I must state that what I'm about to tell you is information provided to my Hollywood spies by multiple sources claiming knowledge of the situation, but since I cannot personally verify any of this, I'm presenting it as unverified rumor, and I ask you to please take it with a grain of salt. So, I am going to share 2 reports from my Hollywood spies with you to give you a complete picture of what's going on. Back on August 20th, 2023, my spies sent me an update on Peltz, and this is a part of what they told me then. Quote, "Now, we just got off a call, and according to this source, Peltz called Bob Friday and told him he has 6 months to at least make it look like he's trying to turn this ship around. If this fails to happen, Peltz said himself, Perlmutter, George Lucas, and 3 other members will sell their shares to Apple. If this is true, this would make Apple the major shareholder of Disney and would remove Bob and place Peltz as CEO. It's a hostile takeover," unquote.
My God, dude! George Lucas famously compared selling Star Wars to Disney to selling your child to white slavers. Iger admitted to screwing George over in his own autobiography, misleading George that Disney would use his treatments for the Star Wars sequel trilogy to complete it. Lies, all lies, lies that hurt George Lucas, and coupled with Kennedy's betrayal and subversion of his life's work. Oh, shit, man. George Lucas deserves to have his revenge.
And have it he shall, Harvey Cthulhu, if the following updated rumor is true. That first rumor was sent to me back in August. Now, yesterday evening on November 4th, I received this update from my spies, and it appears that Peltz is making good on his threat. Here's the latest quote. "Holy shit. We have a possible major storm coming for Disney. We are still going over what we were told. I'm going to give you the short version for now. According to the source that has been telling us the Peltz versus Bob info, he called in today with this. Source said, quote, I know for a fact that Peltz, Perlmutter, and George Lucas have had meetings with Apple's CEO. If these 4 powerhouses team up, they all may be very close to a 65% majority stakeholder position, and they could possibly forcefully remove all the current board members at Disney. I repeat, if these 4 powerhouses team up, they all may be very close to a 65% majority stakeholder position, and they could possibly forcefully remove all the current board members at Disney. Full disclosure, this is very new information. We've had no time to verify any of it, and it's our understanding that next week's stockholders meeting will be a major factor on Peltz's next move, unquote.
Oh, that follows, Doomcock. Peltz warned Iger back in the summer that he had 6 months to turn things around. Well, it's only been 3 months. I guess when Iger heard about this, he said, "Hey, that wasn't the deal." And Peltz said, "I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further."
You said a mouthful, Harvey Cthulhu. If anything, it appears the situation at Disney has deteriorated even worse since the summer, as failure after failure is laid at the doorstep of Cinderella's castle with no relief in sight. This Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central on Pop Culture Breakdown on my Wednesday live stream, we will be examining the Disney earnings call results with Mexican Iron Man and our panel of pop culture pundits, but I think I can safely say that Iger has never been under more stress than he's under right now, folks, and the looming threat of a hostile takeover grows more dire every passing day. My friends, if George Lucas gives Peltz his proxy in this fight to take over Disney, and the CEO of Apple goes along with it as multiple sources are proclaiming, there's little Iger can do but give up and go away. And it looks like they'll have enough votes to clean house at Disney, completely firing and replacing the entire Disney board. Things are heating up, folks. Stay tuned to this channel. I have a feeling that updates will be flying fast and furious over the next few months. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.